Good afternoon and welcome to the final session of Tamebay Live today on Thursday, Cross-Border Day. Got an exciting session coming up and looking at marketplace trends and opportunities to help you scale your business. I just wanted to remind you, the networking areas on the Tamebay Live platform will be open for an hour after this session. So if you would like to go and meet friends or colleagues and have a chat within the industry, or indeed, if you would like to go to any of our presenting partners' showcases to meet with their representatives, they will all be open for the next hour. And they've all got some documents you can download, videos you can watch. You can send them a message if you'd like them to get in touch. And if you just want to let them know that you've been there to get in touch with you after the event, then just click their guest book and it will just note that you visited them and shown an interest, and they will be in touch with you probably sometime next week. So in this session, delighted to welcome Nils from Channel Engine to look at opportunities and listing on overseas marketplaces. 2020 seemed like a huge boost to e-commerce, and with explosive growth and increased competitiveness, sellers are telling us they're looking for even more growth opportunities this year to capitalize on sort of the influx of buyers coming to marketplaces. So Nils is from Channel Engine is going to look at some of these opportunities for you, and especially some of the opportunities on overseas marketplaces. So Nils, welcome to Tamebay Live.
Thank you, Chris. Glad to be here. So yeah, and thank you for today, and then I'm going to close off today with marketplace opportunities and listing on overseas marketplaces. Short introduction of myself. So I am Niels Floors, 13 years of experience in different roles in IT and on marketplace sales. Since 2018, I'm head of sales and partnerships at channelengine.com. And well, we've helped over 400 plus brands, retailers, and wholesalers sell on overseas marketplaces. A little bit about Channel Engine. So Channel Engine, we are a marketplace integrator. We support over 200 sales channels and third-party sales channels and help you connect to them. We were founded in 2013 and have over 100 marketplace specialists in-house. 4 offices around the world. So in Leiden, so that's the Netherlands, in Singapore, Dubai, and in New York. That's our fourth office. And we have a 24/7 support because e-commerce and marketplace sales never sleeps. Few things down there, few of our achievements, of course. We are in Italy, we're part of the Netcom Association. We e-commerce Germany Award, also nominee there. In the e-commerce 100, and that's we're one of the 20 top e-com systems in the Netherlands, and preferred supplier for the top 100 sellers in the Benelux as well. For today, I am going to take you through the agenda, and we are going to go through the changing landscape. As Chris already did a short introduction of where the market is going. After that, a little bit about the marketplaces cross-border and how to choose those right marketplaces for your assortment and to get on there. And last is cross-border marketplace challenges and opportunities. What to take into account when going to these marketplaces. I think listing your products on the marketplaces, that's the easy part, but getting your products there and sold and making sure you really scale your business on those marketplaces, that is the challenge. But I'm going to take you through that in the next 40 minutes. If you have any questions, please let us know in the chat, and then we'll get to those after the session. Going into the changing landscape of the customer journey. So the marketplace opportunity is huge, as we know. It's going to grow to $5.9 trillion US dollars in 2023. And the shift to e-commerce is also already there. COVID-19, it pushed it even harder. I think we saw 2% or even higher to growth at the moment to marketplaces, or to e-commerce, and an even bigger shift to marketplaces. So Just to show you some numbers here, at the moment it's 18.1 or 0.5% is on e-commerce, and that's a total of 4.9 trillion. 60% of those sales are taking place on marketplace as we speak, but growing to, we expect 75% in 2023. Why this is happening? Well, there's a few trends that we're seeing. One is the changing e-commerce value chain. Everybody knows this value chain in the past, where you saw the brands sold to agents, agents to distributors, wholesalers, wholesalers to retailers, and they sold to the consumers. Agents disappeared in most of the verticals that we're working at the moment. And there came marketplaces. So they came in between the retailers, e-tailers, and they started selling on marketplace to consumers. But we're even seeing another shift, and this is more of a shift that we are focusing on at the moment, that brands, owners, manufacturers, and distributors are selling direct on marketplace to consumers. Of course, the retailers, well, they are being, they need to stay in the game as well. What the retailers are doing at the moment is starting their own white label brands to also compete on these marketplaces, or keep your value add in the entire value chain. I mean, retailers are good at playing the game of retail. They know how the game's played. They know the pricing strategies. So make sure you have that value add and stay relevant in this value chain, so that, well, in this case, the brands and manufacturers won't take over. The other thing is that, as we said, marketplaces are taking over the e-commerce customer journey. And that's one of the reasons is because product searches are already most product search are already taking place on marketplaces. So Amazon surpassed Google at the moment, a long time ago, actually. Google doesn't like that, so they are coming back into the game. Another thing is that large e-commerce platforms are turning into a marketplace. I think we saw a few of the big ones here in the Benelux. We have bol.com is the biggest one here. They're turning into it, but Zalando in the fashion category, that is a huge one. Turned into a marketplace and pushing even harder this year to get sellers on, opening their doors where in the past they were closed. And of course, there's more of them. But I think the most interesting one is also that current platforms that are generating clicks, so affiliate click channels at the moment, they're changing their model into a marketplace model. A few of the big ones, of course, Google, already live with their Google Shopping Actions in the US, in France, and rolling out, well, they should come this year with Google Shopping Actions all over the board, all over Europe, UK, and the rest of the world. I mean, this is, if you are relevant, or if your traffic is coming from Google at the moment, they are going to take those conversions and turn it into a marketplace model. So make sure you're ready for it. Other interesting ones are, of course, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest. So the social commerce channels, we're seeing that also transactions taking place. What it means, paid search, well, that's going to be less. There's going to be less paid search and less organic search because, well, these marketplaces are also competing on Google and all of those search channels. So the transaction is getting closer to consumer, and you need to, of course, take this into your channel strategy. This is just an example of Google Shopping Actions. So we're seeing that the transaction finds you can just pay with Google Pay or your credit card, and then you'll get the orders in. But you need to make sure your listings are there. This is the Instagram example, where we're seeing that the Instagram, you're getting it on your timeline and direct place your order, and then, well, transactions taking place. So no more clicks, traffic going from these channels to your own e-com channels. It's all staying in the apps and being sold. But how to choose the right marketplace and which marketplaces should you keep an eye on? Because there's a lot of them. I mean, I think all of you out there are selling on marketplace already. And you know that in Europe, I think we have the widest range of marketplaces that there is. If you look at other regions in the world, it's much more, let's say, it's much more transparent, or there's only a few big players there that take over 80% of the market. So find a suitable marketplace for your products. That's, I think, important thing here, because there's a huge variety of them in Europe. Of course, consider the biggest local players. I mean, we have bol.com here in the Netherlands, but we have Allegro in Poland, for example. Huge marketplace, local hero. Your products are found better there. Few other ones you see here, H&M. We see, what are the ones? Cdiscount in France. So take those into account. Really look if your product assortment fits those marketplaces and start selling on them. You'll grow quicker on those local heroes if you are allowed to sell on them, of course, because Bol is a closed marketplace, but they only let bigger sellers in, or if it fits their vertical, if they have a white spot there. And really look into which marketplace are suitable for your products. So if you have fashion, go into all those fashion-specific marketplaces and start, let's say, doing your due diligence and doing your investigation, which ones fit you best. We have vertical or horizontal marketplace, of course, product versus services or virtual products. Really niche marketplaces. A lot of these niche marketplaces are also closed, so you really have to have your network or get in there to get your business case on those marketplaces. And of course, look at those general marketplaces like Amazon, eBay. They're an excellent option. You get coverage all over Europe and even outside of the boundaries, outside of Europe. But as you know, there's more competition on those marketplaces, so it's going to take you a longer time to get your listings up there. But also understand the customer behavior in that country. So do your investigation or get in touch with, we have a marketplace team, especially that can advise you on that side. But make sure you do your investigation, see which ones are a good fit. Choose your top, or let's say 1 or 2 marketplaces per country, and start really getting the knowledge in-house to grow on those marketplaces. So which marketplaces are there? Well, I think all of you know Amazon. So Amazon is across the board throughout Europe and outside of that. Germany was always the place where they sold to the countries around it, but now already in Netherlands they went live, in Poland they went live, Sweden they went live. So it's they're going out live in all the countries. Grow with it. I mean, it is so that those where they go live, they don't win from the local players at first. So that's why I would advise to go for those local players first, where Amazon was not at that time. Besides that, well, as I said, the number of marketplaces is really growing. There's a huge variety of them. Make your right choice, which ones fit you best. They're all popping up here. So I'll just show you list of all the marketplaces that we see a lot of our sellers on at the moment, and that's that you can grow your sales on. But there's even more. As I said, we have over 200, but that's not even all of them yet. Then a few of the real local heroes to keep an eye on. As I said already, bol.com, it's a market leader in the Netherlands and Belgium. Amazon's not even competing here yet. But you do need to really make a business case and to be accepted as a cross-border seller or someone coming out, a seller coming outside of Europe. Get in touch with us. We are a gold partner of Bol, so we can help you with the introductions. Besides that, we have CDON in the Nordics. It is the local hero in the Nordics, and they are, well, it's a horizontal marketplace as well, all verticals. They have 3.3 million clients, and also clients that come back often to sell on to buy their products on the marketplace. Fastest growing as well in the Nordics, and they're even growing quicker across the board. As I said, Cdiscount, third biggest marketplace after Amazon and eBay in France. So always good to take into account. There are more and more sellers coming on to that marketplace, but I mean, it is still a marketplace where you can compete on. Then we have Fnac in Belgium and France. Again, 36 million active users, big channel, good cross-vertical. So Kaufland, so just changed their name. One of the big ones, one of the fastest growing actually in Germany at the moment. Cross-vertical again, 32 million active clients on there. It's not only visitors, but they're really active clients, active accounts on there that are coming back, looking for new products and buying on Kaufland. They changed their name from Real to Kaufland. And as I said, really good one to take into account in Germany. I mean, Amazon is still the biggest there, but this one is coming after that. And then, as I said, Allegro in Poland. Just to give you a little sense, bol.com is the biggest one in the Netherlands, but they are 5 times as big. The biggest Polish marketplace there is, and they are going outside their borders as well. They reach 60% of the Polish internet users. So that just gives you a sense of how big it is and what you can expect there. These are some of the marketplace really local heroes. They're cross-vertical, interesting to look into because most of the sellers can go online here. As I said, I think bol.com is the hardest one to get onto because they are closed for international sellers, but there is an opportunity there, and they are letting international sellers on. You just have to have a potential, or you have to be able to fill one of their assortment, let's say white spots at the moment. Then it's also a place to sell on. Then there are also, of course, if we really go into the top vertical on e-commerce and on marketplace, it's fashion, of course. Fashion has a wide variation of marketplaces. So as you see, we have discount-led marketplace like Privilea, Afound, eBay, Allegro. Allegro is, of course, a cross-vertical one, but you can sell, let's say, fashion on there as well. Then we have the general ones, well, the biggest ones we all know. Lifestyle-led, and then you go more into Otto, La Redoute, El Corte Inglés, Galeries Lafayette. So this is really lifestyle, but then the fashion. And I think the biggest one, and that always also shows you on the left bottom, is Zalando. Zalando, live in 13 countries. They own the fashion vertical. They are very strict on SLAs, on technical requirements, but once you are on Zalando, the growth is huge, humongous, and you'll start selling in fashion. It's the place to be. Besides that, a nice second, a really good one to take into account is Afound. Afound is also growing their roots around Europe, and they are more of they're a off-price marketplace, but they are premium off-price marketplace for fashion. And Spartoo, but also already covers Europe. These are the main ones in fashion, but as you see on the left side, so Zalando, Otto is the second place. Otto is also a strict one, so if you want to go on there, you need to have a German entity, and you have to have your stock in Germany. So that's good to take into account, but there's a solution for that. We have partners in there that can solve the solution, or let's say solve the fulfillment issue. And well, you can also sell merchant of record on Otto as well. So with one of the partners, and they can sell it on Otto, or start a GmbH in Germany. That's also an opportunity if you have those if you can do that. And after that, you see Amazon coming up. So managing all these global sales channels is an opportunity, but also, as I say, a growing challenge because there is a lot of things to take into account. This is the coverage that we see of main marketplaces around the world. And as you see in the middle, Europe, well, as growing, let's say, marketplace is scattered all over the place. So you have everything from the vertical specific niche, but also the general local heroes there. And then in all those other regions around the world, like Southeast Asia, you have, I think, three to four marketplaces that do 80% of all marketplace sales. Australia and New Zealand, again, 3 to 4 that do 80% of the marketplace sales. And that's what you see actually over in all the other regions in the world. So Russia, in South America, North America, in all those regions, you have a few big players out there that are just dominating that region. It makes it, let's say, less complex because you can just choose those channels and go live on it, and you don't have to be online on all those channels. But it also says there's more competition on those few channels that are out there. Then going into cross-border marketplace challenges and opportunities. So deciding your product offering, that's the important one. As I said, every marketplace has a different products fit. So scope out the available products on the marketplace and see if you can be unique and compete on those marketplaces. Also look into how your brand's portrayed on those marketplaces. There's a huge options, like on Amazon, of course, you have the A+ content, but every marketplace has its own way of positioning your products. Consider your shipping costs into the price. Can you match and also compete with those costs in there? Because a lot of marketplaces don't let you add shipping costs to your fees. You have to do that for free. So is your margin big enough for that to compete? And start off with a limited assortment on those marketplaces. And we see that those are the best sellers to really know the marketplace, get to know the marketplace, and from there grow. List on multiple categories, because maybe your product can be, you can compete better in certain categories than others. So these are just some tips that we have to start off on a new marketplace. Then pricing. Well, pricing is essential, of course. I mean, we all want to make a margin and of course earn money. Otherwise, we're not selling on all these channels. Take your currency conversion into account. Translation costs, tax and duties, and shipping and return costs. As I said, these are all just a few things out there that you have to take into account, and the marketplace subscription cost and commission. Some have a subscription cost, some have a commission, and some have both. So really do your investigation in what the cost will be and build up your pricing from there. See if the marketplace fits you with all of these things. And as we know, so in June, the tax and duties in Europe are going to change. And then if we're going really over the pond to the US, I mean, there the tax, or let's say the taxes are even more complex. We would advise also to look into the software that can help you with that, like Avalara, great solution. We also have an integration there to make sure that that is as automated and that you're doing that you know what the cost would be, and that you can really put the right pricing out there. Next step is content optimization. Every marketplace needs unique content. So take all the marketplace requirements into account. I mean, every marketplace has different attributes. So you need to they have required attributes and optional attributes, but also you need to be found on the marketplace and get your products on, get that algorithm of the search engine of the marketplace. Make sure you tick the boxes to get your products up there. So know all of these marketplaces, or know what's required and know what really triggers those algorithms. Every marketplace, as I said, has different, like the long titles on Amazon, but Allegro has different ones. Bol has really short titles. Just a few examples there. If you don't know this, work with an agency. Get a local agency in place. They have this knowledge. You'll go online the first time quicker, and also start selling quicker on these marketplaces. It's also a good tip, because if you push, let's say, simple content to the marketplace that doesn't fit or their requirements, or it won't boost your products up, that the content will be in the PIM system of the marketplace. So changing it often takes longer than if you do it the first time the right way. So I mean, as we said, we at General Engine know what's needed to get your product on, your content there in the right format. But there is, let's say, a deeper knowledge needed to really know what triggers those algorithms to get your content out there, and make sure that you have the translation set up. I mean, you have different automated translation tools out there that you can use to translate content, but not everything can be automated. Just like descriptions, right? You have to have a human eye sometimes, or a local person, to make sure that it also that the people understand, or that you have the right descriptions to really trigger the people to buy your products. And as well as, because now in the past a lot of retailers have been selling on the marketplace, and now we're seeing the brands, so you can really position your brand the right way with the right content. Then payments. Well, payments. We all want to get paid for what we're selling. So consider different paying methods. Every marketplace has different kinds of payment methods, and you have to adapt to their requirements in that sense. So cash on delivery is one of them. PayPal, credit, debit card. That's all of these things you should be able to cover if you want to go on those marketplaces. or use a payment service provider, a PSP, as we call them. World First is one of them that we partner up with, and it's an easy solution for the technical, or it's an easy solution to make sure that you fit the requirements of the marketplace, and they also have preferential processing fees. So it's easy to go cross-border to all of these marketplaces because you don't have to take all of the different currencies into account because they just have world accounts out there. This is just an example on the right side. So for Amazon, also, if you work with World First, well, the spot price is about, you'll pay 1.5% fee for all of the transactions, converting, and all of those things. If you take a PSP, well, as you see here, it saves you, well, the fees are 0.2%. It saves you, well, this is just an example. I mean, it can fluctuate a bit, but let's say it saves you 1%. If you really are, let's say, scaling your sales on these marketplaces, 1% is a huge amount, of course. Then we have tax obligations. So, well, we all have to pay taxes, and taxes, they differ per country. So in Europe, we have all of the thresholds that we need to take into account. And you also have to take into account if you're holding inventory in a different place or in a different country. If you transfer inventory into another country, it's also important one because that's also important for your taxes. But as long as once you've reached the threshold in a country, you need to start paying the taxes in that country. So you need also, and this is essential because otherwise you'll have other issues coming up. So you need to register locally. There is, of course, new legislation coming up that it's going to make it easier, as you can just have one place that you register your taxes. You do need your local VAT numbers at that time, and those thresholds are going to be even lower than they are at the moment. On general, you see that in Europe, it's about 35,000 a year, and then you reach your threshold. But that's going to be lowered. I don't know the precise amount yet, but I thought it's around 10K. So you're going to reach that limit or that threshold quickly. So make sure you know this. If you don't know this, take a partner that does have all of this information. And if you look at taxes or in the US, that's a whole nother ballgame. I mean, you really need to have to set it up correctly there because otherwise it's going to really cost you money. Consider tooling for this, as I said. So we have you have the VAT services of Amazon, but you also have tools like Avalara or Taxman out there that can really help you and automate this process. And as you are also responsible for invoicing on many marketplaces, not all marketplaces, many marketplaces. So consider all the invoicing requirements needed for your taxes and to make sure that this is all set up correctly. There's, again, automated tooling for that to make sure that you have this set up, but this is essential to be selling cross-border and on all of these marketplaces. Then we have the local regulations and compliance. So you really need to look into which products are allowed to be sold in different regions because not every product can be sold in every country, especially if you're looking at, let's say, food products, that there are really strict legislations in different countries. But also just a simple one is product compliance. So the right plugs, are you selling the products with the right plugs in a certain country? I mean, it changes, of course, if we're looking at the UK and in the Netherlands, but also other European countries and the US, of course, or other regions around the world. Voltages change around the world. Mattress sizes, yeah, they change. They're also different around the world. So these are all things, but also sizes of products, right? I mean, if you look at the US, you need about 14 different sizes out there if you look at t-shirts. But here in Europe, we don't have that many sizes because we go up to the XXXXLs or triple or quadruple XLs in the US, and we only go to XL here in Europe. So all these things need to be taken into account when you're listing the products. I mean, it doesn't make sense just to put all your products out there because if it doesn't fit these requirements, you're just going to get the product back. You have to pay the returns yourself, and it's going to cost you money. So again, really important to take all this into account and make sure that this is set up. And that's why I start with that smart assortment and move it up from there. Then shipping and fulfillment. I mean, well, once the assortment has been made, we need to get our products there to the consumer to make sure that he's happy, and then we have the entire life cycle, or the product life cycle, order cycle there. So consider, can you ship yourself the items yourself, and make a comparison with the services that the marketplace have. Many of the marketplaces, like Cdiscount, as I just mentioned, Bol.com, they also have a logistical service, just like Fulfillment by Amazon out there. I know that others are also looking into this, so there's more and more coming. The only thing, you don't want to be reliant on that, because you also want to, say if you run out of stock and on FBA, you want to make sure that you have a backup ready, so your products are always online and you can keep on selling on the marketplaces. Customers, well, as I said, you might want to choose for a local hero in a certain country, but take into account that the sale could come from a country that's outside those boundaries. As I said, is free shipping required? A lot of the marketplaces, they don't let you ask added shipping fees on the marketplace. So take that into your pricing as well. But you do need to check it out and check if that's the case on the marketplace. Do you have a reliable carrier if you're working with a 3PL, for example? Because that is also, they are going to influence your seller scores, right? If they don't deliver on time, your seller scores will go down and your listings will go down. So make sure they have do your investigation in, are they also meeting the SLAs? Another thing to take into account is, does your marketplace set certain rules or set carriers that you need to work with? A big example in this one is, for example, Zalando in Europe. They set requirements in which carriers you have to use for your ordering, but also for your returns. So essential to take that into account. They have an entire checklist you have to go through to make sure that you fit those requirements. If you don't do that, you're going to be, or blocked, or you're going to get penalties or anything like that. So, is a local return address required? Also an important one. It's another thing that the marketplace set for as a requirement. So take that into account. And as I said, free returns. And also a very important one here is shipping. As I said, I mean, the solutions of marketplace like Fulfillment by Amazon, it's great. Always get into those. But we have seen that in sometimes really busy peaks like Black Friday, that FBA listings have, let's say, been gone lower in the listing because there was too much pressure on the warehouse of Amazon at that time. So make sure you have a switch or a hybrid model set up there that you can switch automatically to your own list, to your own warehouse, so that the listing goes up again. This all needs to be monitored on daily basis. Besides, well, then we come into later on in the order process is the customer service. You're responsible for the customer service in many cases. There's a few marketplaces that do the first line customer service and you're the second line customer service, but most of the times you're responsible for customer service, and you need to fit the SLAs. You need to respond on time. And you need a local customer service, so local speaking customer service as well. So scope what services are of the marketplace, because a lot of times the marketplace have these services in place as well that you can take into. So for example, Bol, they have these, when you take their logistics or fulfillment by Bol, you get the customer service as well. But it's essential that this is set up correctly, because if you don't respond on time to customer service questions, then you'll get, let's say, then you get a strike on marketplaces. But another thing is, if you, for example, you can get bad ratings as well. Well, bad ratings is bad for your seller score, and your listings will go down again. So really important. I would advise, look into the tooling that's out there for customer service. We integrate with and partner up with eDesk in this case. Fully scalable model, a lot of AI automation in there, and automatic translation. So you're covered for, let's say, the world in this case. Then, just to finalize, of course, the solution to making your lives a lot easier is, of course, I work for a channel engine where we help you with a fully scalable, user-friendly, and feature-rich program to connect your existing systems to all of these marketplaces around the world, and always keep in scope what's happening on all of these channels. So, some key functionalities: we make sure your products are always synchronized with all of the marketplaces. We synchronize your stock over all channels, and a lot more features out there. And this is all, of course, in place so that you can focus on optimization, learning the marketplaces out there, knowing what is needed to grow your business on these marketplaces. So if you would like a demo or any other information, let me know, or let my team know with hello@channelengine.com, and then we'll deep dive together with you guys. That was it for today. So thank you all for your time, and I think we're going to dive into some questions.
Great, thank you, Niels. Yeah, we've actually got quite a few questions coming in for you. But the first one I actually want to ask myself, you talked about closed marketplaces and the attractiveness of them.
Yep.
But how do you get invited? Can Channel Engine help get me on marketplaces like Afound or Bol or other marketplaces which are closed? How do I get into them?
Yeah, I mean, if you're really in a closed marketplace, you really need an introduction. It helps a lot. Knowing people within the marketplace. So that is an essential one to take in there. You can't promise anything, but we do have a marketplace team set up here that really can help with the introductions. But it's not 100% guarantee. You just need to be prepared. Need to make sure that the assortment that your assortment fits the marketplace, and make sure that you have the organization behind it so that you can also sell on those marketplaces. If we're looking at, for example, Bol.com, they don't let international sellers in, but if you have a certain potential to sell on that channel, they will start talking to you.
Okay, and then a really interesting question: are there any marketplaces to avoid? And I think I'd like to couple that with another question, which is, which marketplaces should I choose first? So I guess by avoid, we don't mean just like rule them out altogether, but are there some that are just so difficult that you might want to leave them till last? Or are there some that the opportunity is so big that regardless of the challenges, it's worth getting in there at the start?
I think it really depends on what you're selling on the marketplace. I mean, as I said, you need to make the right decision. So make a short list of marketplaces that really fit your assortment out there. And we would advise to start with those local heroes that are out there, and then grow and add those bigger marketplaces as well. But on the I wouldn't really say marketplace to avoid, because if you've done your due diligence and you've done your investigation, you know your products it's gonna be a product marketplace fit there. So then you're gonna start selling there. But I would just really do the investigation on your products. I mean, fashion, always go to let's say Zalando. I mean, it is the best fit product out there. We have, for refurbished products, go to Back Market, Refurbed, Amazon Renewed, all those channels. So it really depends on just your products and which one, where your products fit best. My advice: choose let's say a small list and start one by one and start expanding on those marketplaces, and then go to the next one. The strategy of just going on all of those marketplaces doesn't fit.
Yeah, and start with local heroes.
Yeah.
So a lot of these marketplaces, they're in languages which, how do I say it? They're not common. And obviously in the UK, we think everyone speaks English, but largely the truth is most people speak English, French, or German, or Spanish. But then we've also got Italian. But I don't know many people that, for instance, speak Polish or Flemish or the languages that these local heroes are on. Do I really, for instance, need a Polish speaker to be successful on Allegro, or can I just use Google Translate?
Yeah, you can do a lot with Google Translate or DeepL, big good service out there. But I mean, you also have good translation services, or let's say agencies out there, right? You have like a Language Wire, also a good translation service out there. I mean, a lot of these marketplaces, they do let you publish your product with English content, but the sales, it does affect your sales. So make sure you have it up there. But I mean, the translation of the content is not really, I think, not the hardest part. It's making sure your customer service can answer those questions in that language. I mean,
Gotcha.
Polish, you're going to send you Polish questions, right? So I think that's the real part, but that's also a solution. And as I said, eDesk is a great solution for that. They can translate everything back and forth. So there are different tools out there, but make sure, you do need to have your content in the language of that country. Otherwise, your sales is not. You're going to see your sales lagging.
And then some really interesting questions around optimization. I mean, it's fairly easy to translate a title, stick some pictures up and a basic description. But should product descriptions change on different marketplaces? What about other optimizations like product attributes? What are the differences between marketplaces that I need to expect? And are there tools that can do the optimization for me, that if I've got a single PIM source with all my product information in, that I can pump it into something like Channel Engine and it's good for all marketplaces, or do I still have work to do?
Yeah, so I mean, yes, tooling like Channel Engine makes your life a lot easier, because we know exactly for every marketplace has a different category tree, and every marketplace on every category has a different required and optional attributes that you need to send to the marketplace to make sure your products get listed. Otherwise, your products will just not be found or not be listed at all. They'll just be denied on there. But I think there's two different things here. One is getting your product content out there in the right format, right? In the right attributes listed on those marketplaces, so that you get your products are accepted on the marketplace. But the second step is really optimizing it. I mean, in the past, everybody knows that you had right search engine optimization for Google. Everybody knows the content on their web shop need to be optimized for that search engine. Now you have every marketplace has their own search engine. Every marketplace that search engine is triggered in a different way. So that's why it takes deeper knowledge, but we would advise to always use a PIM for this, because the more channels you have, the more types of content you're going to get, and the more, let's say, metadata and customizations needed. So as I said, really deep dive into those marketplaces. Look what triggers that algorithm on that search engine to get your products up there. And I mean, it is a complex one. I mean, for example, Bull, as I said, Bull only wants a short title, for example. Amazon wants, well, we all know the Amazon titles out there. They're long.
200 characters or something.
Yeah. And for example, Allegro, they want, let's say, they want the brand, then they want the type of product, and then they want to know what you can do with it. For example, this is a table with the table with a certain brand, and you can stand on it. That's, for example, an example there. So another thing is, for example, Zalando, you can just send them your English content and they translate it to all of the countries around the world.
That sounds perfect to me.
Yeah, it makes your life a lot easier, but they have other difficulties up there that makes it a little more complex. But that is a really nice service, because they want their content all in the same look and feel.
Mm. So a really interesting question has come in, which is, how do you decide whether to have a store on a marketplace or not? And I think this is a really interesting question, because I think actually it goes a lot deeper to just, shall I open a store or not? On some marketplaces like eBay and Amazon, it's like, open a store and you get lower fees. It's a no-brainer. But what I think the real question that I think they're trying to ask is, do I just sort of do a cursory list on the marketplace and hope I get something, or do I really invest in that marketplace, use all the tools that are available? What approach is best? Pick a few to heavily invest in, or get on as many as possible with a sort of a top level. I've got my listings there, and cross my fingers it works.
Yeah. Option one. So we see that our biggest sellers or biggest brands that we help to marketplaces really have a strategic choice of marketplaces, and they go one by one. So choose a marketplace, go on it, test with a few products, learn how the marketplace works, then look at all the different solutions, how to position your product on that marketplace the correct way, and then start expanding, widening your range of products on there, and then growing your business on that marketplace. Once you've mastered the marketplace and you see it, I would also advise put a specialist on that marketplace. Always have someone in the house that can really get that business. I mean, marketplace isn't a side business; it is a specialism. So a lot of our sellers that we have, they have 1, 2, maybe 3, depending on how big and how much sales they're doing. 3 people on a certain marketplace, only monitoring, making sure that marketplace optimized and they're growing on the marketplace. Then go to a next one and go work on that way. Just scattering and adding as much marketplace as possible is not our advice, because then you won't have the focus. You won't start you won't grow your listings on those marketplaces. And now, we all know Amazon, for example. You really need to boost and push that algorithm. Make sure that you get your products with the right content on there. Advertising campaigns, make sure your advertising campaigns are also really advanced, and you also push those algorithms. You can't go halfway on these channels, because then you're not going to compete, and you're going to fail in the long run.
Now, something I wanted to ask is, I saw you mention a couple of marketplaces, including Kaufland and Cdiscount, who are actually part of the International Marketplace Network, which means you list on one of them and your products will also appear on eMag and ePrice as well.
Yeah.
Which of those marketplaces is easiest to deal with to get in on that network? Should I go to Cdiscount? Should I go to eMag? Should I go to Kaufland? Because if I can get my products on one, I can be on all 4. Or should I just list on all 4 individually and do it all myself?
Yeah, so I think if we really look at Cdiscount is most open out there, so that it's easy to list on. Let's say it's easy to get into that marketplace. Kaufland as well. I mean, it's a good marketplace. There's a few. I mean, you can just list on all of them. But again, I mean, ePrice, we aren't seeing the sales there yet. So it's mostly on, let's say, the other ones, Cdiscount, Fnac, and Kaufland at the moment. But again, I mean, see if it fits your market, and you can deliver your products there, right? That's another one that you need to take into account. I mean, it doesn't make sense to go on all of them if you can't deliver your products to all of those countries. And again, you do need to have the right content set up, right advertising campaign set up for every channel. So it's an interesting one. I mean, I know the network is there that you can really easily go online on those marketplaces, but go make sure your checklist is gone through, that you're ready to go to all of these channels.
Yeah, brilliant. We've just got a couple of minutes left, but still some interesting questions. So a fascinating one. How can I manage sponsored listings or display ads across multiple marketplaces? Are there tools to kind of pick up eBay, Amazon, Zalando, every marketplace that I can get display ads on?
Unfortunately, not every marketplace. I don't know tooling for Zalando. I know the tooling for Amazon, eBay. Like you have Jungle Scout out there. Adspert, also one of those tools that's out there, and those are really specialized in all those PPC advertising campaigns. Again, it makes your life easier, but unfortunately, not all marketplaces. There's not a tool for all marketplaces out there. There is a tool, Channel Engine. We do make sure that you can list all your products and make sure your order flows are automated. Pricing, dynamic repricing is set up. Digital bundling, the rest of it automated. but only the PPC advertising, that is something that a lot of times you do have to do in the back ends of those marketplaces.
And then the final question that we've got time for is how is the search functionality pretty much the same across all marketplaces, or does it change how I label describe products? I mean, I've taken the example that you said of Bol with really short titles and Amazon with really long titles. Obviously, if I've got a 2 or 3 word title on Bol, it's not going to be anywhere near as searchable as an Amazon title. So are there different things I need to do on marketplaces like Bol?
Yeah, there's a lot of things you have to take into account. I mean, content is just it. Every search engine is different on these marketplaces, so that's what you have to take into account. There's a lot of knowledge online about what triggers those search engines, but another thing is attributes. Making sure you map those attributes. People start searching in the search engine, but after that they start clicking on the left side of the screen on attributes. I think the biggest example that we have if we go back to Amazon is, for example, chocolate. You see that you can search chocolate and you'll get maybe, well, I think 50,000, 60,000 results. If you click on the attribute on the left side, alcohol free, you only get about 100 results that stay open, because all of those chocolate sellers, they haven't mapped that attribute.
Gotcha.
So that's, I think, the next step, attribute mapping. Make sure that you map as many attributes as possible, because then you'll make sure that your products stay up there once they click on a certain attribute.
Fantastic. Niels, I really want to thank you for your time today. Unfortunately, we have come up at the end of the day here. But if you're watching and you'd like to get hold of Niels, by all means, go to his showcase on Tamebay Live. But Niels, for those people that are watching after the event when the showcases are shut, how can they get hold of you?
Yeah, so you can always get a hold of me on LinkedIn. So Niels Floors, invite me and then we can connect, or get in touch with me at niels@channelengine.com, and then we'll make sure that we do a deep dive session on all of these topics. And we can also make a good advice on a short roadmap for you, which channels would fit you best for the future or for now to really start growing your business.
Niels, thank you so much for taking part in Tamebay Live.
Thank you. And everybody have a good day, and hopefully a good event tomorrow again.
Yes, and Tamebay Live will be back tomorrow, and tomorrow we are going to be looking at how to grow your business off marketplaces. We've got a fantastic day coming up. VTEX are going to be on in the morning looking at a roadmap for e-commerce. eDesk are going to be here with Google to tell us about how to shop on Google. We've got Linworks CEO Callum Campbell, who's going to be talking where next for marketplaces, along with the on-buy marketplaces as special guest. Avalara are going to be here to talk about tax, and they've invited a retailer, one of you guys, called Katawiki. We've got Olsam, who are going to be talking about how to make sure your FBA business is profitable and exit strategies. Habu's going to be talking about fulfillment. And we're going to end the entire conference with a session I've really been looking forward to with True Commerce, which is a pandemic exit strategy. So we're aware a lot of people's world has been kind of turned upside down in the last year, and they've had to react with circumstances. So it's time for the end of the conference to take a look at what's happened during the pandemic and how you should be planning to move out of the pandemic and plan for the future. So that's all coming tomorrow. In the meantime, the networking areas on Tamebay Live are open for the next hour. So if you'd like to go and find Niels and the Channel Engine crew, there'll be the presenting partners showcases along with all of our other partners from the week. And obviously the coffee shops, etc., being open as well. We keep getting asked, can I rewatch sessions? And the answer is yes. We're recording all sessions. They're not available quite yet, but we'll be making them available in the very near future once Tamebay Live Week is over. So if you've missed anything, you will be able to either watch again or catch up on the sessions that you've missed. So all it remains is for me to thank all of our presenting partners from today. GFS, who have been our co-hosts for today, and our title sponsor, eBay. Without our presenting partners as sponsors and co-hosts, this wouldn't have been possible. So a huge thanks to all of those people. Have a great evening and look forward to welcoming you back tomorrow morning.